Thank you everyone for joining us here today. This is Monday, October 4th, Egoscue with Kim, here at the Levittown Public Library, approximately 11 a.m. Go ahead, Kim.
Thank you very much. Good to see everybody again. We're just gonna get started here. What I want everybody to remember is that if something doesn't work out for you today, if something doesn't feel right, just don't do it. Skip that move. I'll try to give you as many modifications as I can. For those of you who can't do certain things, I'll think of them and I'll spit them out. But we're gonna give you guys some stimulus today so that the body can auto-correct itself. That's what it's all about. So today, I was looking through some of my old stuff and I've got something, it's a little bit tougher in the therapy process, but I think we can do it. I'm gonna have everybody get, instead of one block today, or instead of one pillow, we're gonna do two. So you're gonna grab two pillows off of your bed, or you're gonna do two yoga blocks or two books of the same height. I've used books in the past when I didn't have Egoscue blocks, because we are going to do the modified floor block or floor block position, which is laying down on the floor, and we're gonna elevate the arms. That move is not gonna be for everybody, so I'll give you guys modifications once we get to it, but we're gonna have two. So try to get something of similar shape and size. The other thing that I foresee us using is the good old strap, either strap or belt that comes off of a dude's belt loop. I don't want you ladies to be using any of the fashion belts. You want something that's going to have an awful lot of resistance. So any leather belt will do. A rope off of your favorite boat, maybe something like that. You could take a line, something of that effect. Not a PT strap. Do not use any PT stuff that's made out of rubber. We want resistance. So that's it. Two blocks or pillows, one strap, good old chair or static back block or ottoman. We're going to do that. We're going to start out with a gravity drop, which we can't do. So I am going to give you the version of gravity drop against the wall. So I want you guys to bring yourselves to the wall or to the door. Now, a lot of you have been with me for years, so you know what gravity drop is. That's working off of the stairs, but we can't all do that. And I can't show you stairs. So I'm going to give you another version of gravity drop. We're going to go pigeon-toed against the wall. So pigeon-toed is turning the feet in so that the big toes touch each other and the heels are further apart. Now, I don't want you to walk it in so that your sticky feet hold into the floor and you end up looking like this because your hips don't follow. Now, it's very important for you to make this turn from your hips. If it's too much for you, just go less. You don't have to go a whole lot. Even just a gentle inversion or internal rotation is enough. But you want to be even. So I've got my heels trapped on the wall. And I'm tightening my thighs. That's all I'm doing here. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to stay here for a few minutes. I got my thighs tight so my knees are not bending. And we're just hanging out here, everybody. We're going to let the body adapt to this position, which it will. You just got to give it that time. Again, this move may not be for everybody. This is it's a simple move. I haven't met anybody that couldn't do this move unless they were suffering from some really severe knee pain. And if that's you, then just stand against the wall with your feet pointed straight ahead. The other thing that I don't bring up all the time, and I try to remind myself of, is if your behind has a different shape than others, and it's actually pushing your body off the wall where you feel like you're falling forward, go ahead and take an inch or two step forward to get your heels underneath your hips. The only reason why we're here against the wall is because we're trying to trap the body into coming out of rotation, out of rotation. I was having a discussion with someone from actually over in Europe, and maybe she snuck on now. I'm not sure if she's here or not. She said she'd be here, but we were having a discussion over imbalance and what was going on in an imbalanced body. And usually if a body is going to do something different from right side to left side, like say a knee is going to go a little more internal, or one hip is going to be elevated, or one shoulder is going to be elevated or depressed, the body is going to compensate by giving a rotation to some degree. Otherwise, we'd be walking around in such a, let's say, inefficient manner. It would steal so much energy from the body in order to continue that. So the body, in its wisdom, adds a rotation. And that rotation actually decreases or minimizes the imbalance to a degree so that you can walk with a little more efficiency. So think about it. If you've got one hip elevated, you're not going to peg leg around. Instead, your body will just rotate one of your hips forward and you'll just kind of walk on an angle. I see it all the time. One more minute, everybody. You don't have to do this against the wall either. I do it against the wall to add a little bit more of that trapping force. You can just stand pigeon-toed in the middle of the room. I've done it when I'm online at Starbucks, or I don't go there anymore. Believe it or not, I got fed up with them, but places like that. You can stand, you do your glute squeezes, things like that. I hope at this point, everybody is at least starting to feel this sequence of events going through their body that's kind of hit them in the lower back and is starting to change up through their shoulders and into their head. So we're getting that chain reaction by changing the position of both of the hips and the feet. Wonderful. I'm going to step off. You might feel a little noodle-legged after that. I usually do. I'm usually pretty noodle-legged after something like that. I'm going to go into standing windmill. Now, everybody does not have a nice clean wall like this. Just stand in the middle of the room and think about having a wall behind you. I've got the baseboard here, so I can't even bring my heels to the wall, so I have to pretend. I do have to pretend. I want you guys to stand with your feet hip distance. I like to use my fist and put that right in between my big toes, and that's usually hip distance or pretty close. I'll bring my arms out to a T. You got shoulder issues, maybe they'll go lower, maybe they'll go on your hips. But I'm going to move only through my waist. See how my hips stay right over my heels as I go back and forth? So on my imaginary wall, my butt is glued to the wall. It doesn't move. I'm going back and forth. My heels are also glued to the floor. This is standing windmill. On my imaginary wall, I'm imagining my thumb and pinky grazing the wall. I want to adhere to that nice flat wall surface with my hands and my heels. I'm going to separate my feet a little wider. I'm going about 1.5 feet to about 2 feet wide. Feet stay parallel. So now we're changing the position of the hips, which is going to change the demand on the hip. You might not believe it. I know you feel it in your shoulders. Wow, this is a lot of work in the shoulders, but this is quite a demand on the hips. This move also reduces rotation. What I'm doing with these first 2 moves, and if you notice in every sequence that I give you, I address rotation. First off, right off the bat, we're going after rotation. We want to reduce rotation because rotation tends to be a compensation for a dysfunction. So we're unwinding, and we're going to get to the root of the dysfunction. We're going to separate the legs even wider, ladies and gentlemen. Standing windmill, going real wide here. If you got socks on, be careful. Put your shoes on or stand on a mat. I'm going as wide as I can, not comfortably. This is not comfortable, but I'm able to hold. So find your challenge and do it. This should be challenging. I have a client who's in a wheelchair. I do get her butt out of that wheelchair, and we do crawling, we do standing, we do walking. but she cannot do this anymore. So we have her do it in a sitting position. If you're in that position, maybe you want to try it sitting as well. Coming back to our very first position. So the feet are hip distance again. Use that fist measurement between your big toes. And now everyone, especially those of you that are new, notice what changed. What's different? It is humid in the Northeast, isn't it? Good old L Town. It is humid. Humid. Relax your arms, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to take you guys down to the floor. We're going to do kneeling groin stretch. This is not an easy move. Very, very difficult move for many of us. You know what? Forget that. For many of you, because it's not difficult for me. I'm not going to add myself in that one. I'm going to do kneeling groin stretch. I want you guys to come to hands and knees. There is a modification for this. I'll show you after I show you kneeling groin stretch. So when we come to hands and knees, I want you to put your right foot where your right hand is. And some of you can come even further than that. So right foot where right hand is. If you look at my legs, you look behind me, I cannot see my ankle. In order for your body to avoid this effort, it's going to do this. And that's called cheating. So if you look between your knees and you can see your leg and your ankle, I want you to put your ankle in line with your hip. Keep it there. That's going to force your hip to now do work. You might have to hang on to something. Some of my clients do that too. Whoa, whoa, whoa. They can't hold themselves here. So hang on to something. But if you can hold yourself here, place your hand on your knee and push your body upright. There's more than just a stretch going on here. So from the side, it looks like this. And I don't care if you stay here for 2 or 3 minutes. You just listen to me talk, everybody. So here's the kneeling groin stretch. Can't get that done? Maybe you want to take your foot and hook it on a chair behind you while you hang on to something in front of you to stay stable. You can do something like that. You can come as high as you like. Same idea here. Kneeling groin stretch. Whoa. We are going for a pelvic separation here. And I always noticed in yoga, when I used to teach, I would change my wording once I got into Agascu, because there's a tendency to just lean into stretches in yoga and kind of hang on the tension of the tissues. And that's not what I want you to do here. This is an active move. So hang out here for about 5 more seconds with me. I want you to stay active. I want everything that's touching the ground to press into the ground. And I got that cue from yoga. Everything that touches the ground resists the ground. Switch to side. To be really, really clean with your form here. Remember, the effect that we're looking for is balance. We want the body to become rebalanced. So we have to be really accurate with our form. Again, if kneeling is not for you today, maybe you're hooking your foot on the back of a chair, on the base of a chair, on something, and getting a nice stretch coming down the leg. There's a more advanced version of this I didn't show anybody yet. It's called screaming pigeon. You guys stay in it. The counter's going. Trust my timer. Screaming pigeon is trapping this leg against the wall. So you can do something like that. Trap your leg and then come up. So that's an option as well. But don't do that just because, oh, that looks hard. I want that challenge. Do what your body can. You've got to stay in form. So that's a tougher version of this move. Okay, everybody come on out. That's a good one. This keeps blowing away from me. Okay. Oh, next move is not fun. Goodness, it's not fun. We're going to do core abdominals, which means we are going into planks. Now, there's a reason for doing this. Because now that we just separated the body left, right, we're trying to get that rotation out. Now we're going to come into a little bit more of a strengthening sequence. So we're going to start out with our planks, everybody. If you cannot do a plank on the floor, you can absolutely give it a shot on the wall, just like push-ups. You can do them on the floor, or you can make it easier for yourself and just put yourself on the wall, right? So if you're not able to get on the floor and plank with me, go ahead and plank on the wall. So here's where we're going to start. Side plank first. I am going to do it on my elbow today because elbow traps my shoulder into working in a different way. You can do it on your hand if you want to. We're going to go for 30 seconds each side. If you're on the floor with me, I want you to keep your legs straight out in front of you and keep your ankles dorsiflexed. Thighs are tight. That's going to force your hip to work, which forces everything else. My elbow's right underneath my shoulder. Now, everybody squeeze your shoulders back and down. I don't care if your hip never gets off the floor. I want you to work on trying to get the hip off the floor, even if you look like this. That's okay. You don't have to look like me. We're going to hold 30 seconds. Thighs tight, ankles dorsiflexed, shoulders are back and down, pinching and lift. You can get this done on a wall. Just go ahead and place your hand on a wall and go ahead and walk your feet away from the wall until you feel some resistance. There, I see a couple of you doing it already. Whew, my goodness. Of course, I started on my weak side, the side that's got that shoulder surgery that I'm recuperating from, and I am shaking. Even my top hand is shaking, not because this hand is tired, but because the nervous system has to repattern after being injured. And relax, 30 seconds, there you go. Other side. You can even get this done placing your hand on a couch and just leaning into it. So I'm going to put my elbow down, legs are straight out. Elbow, knees, hips, shoulder, roll in this line. Here we go. Dorsiflex, lift. We're going to come out of it, everybody. Beautiful job. We've got 2 more positions. We're going to go face down first. I am going to take it on my elbows. Again, you guys might have your hands on the wall planking in, but when we do it face down, we keep the shoulders back and down. See what I did there? I'll show you again on the floor. When we do it face down, the shoulders come back and down and they hold. Okay, so I'm going to take it onto my elbows. Drop my shoulders back and down and plank. Egoscue plank is very different than other planks. Thighs stay tight, shoulders stay back and down. This is where last week somebody saw one of Kim's dysfunctions. My back tends to bend like a suitcase. So that's one of my dysfunctions, everybody. Doesn't mean yours has to look the same. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last 30 seconds, we're gonna go face up. This one's gonna be hard, I know. I know. All right, ankles, stay dorsiflexed, period. I don't care if you get this done with your hands on the back of your couch and you try to lift up a little, that's okay. Do something, do something. Ankles must stay dorsiflexed. If you're having a hard time, maybe you'll bend your knees or maybe you'll skip it. It's only 30 seconds. Here we go. Whew, this is hard on that left shoulder. I can't remember a time where my butt kept skimming the ground. Man, this is hard to lift. I could do it with my hands down, but man, with that elbow down, it really forces my shoulder to work. You see how my butt keeps hitting the ground, everybody? So I'm just as weak as maybe some of you in other moves. It's okay. Oh, that was it, 30 seconds. Oh, used to be better in that one, but we will work on it. Everybody's still okay? Hey, you're still alive. I see you guys, you're still good. All right, I'm gonna have everybody come to cats and dogs, hands and knees. You can do this sitting in a chair. You don't have to do this on hands and knees. It's just arching and rounding, that's it. Arch and round. That's all it is. Some of you have a hard time coming onto your hands, so you can come onto your fists. If that doesn't work for you, you can absolutely do this sitting in a chair. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to come to crocodile pose. Not an easy move. We hold it for 1 minute on each side. When you do crocodile pose, I want you guys to remember, we're trying to reteach the body to rotate using the muscles through the torso. So don't push into the ground using your hand. I know you want to. I know you want to, but try not to. So what we're going to do is lay the body out straight. And we're going to bring the arms out to a T with your palms face down. If you were looking at me from a bird's eye view, I would look like this. So I'm laying on the floor like so. I'm going to put my right foot on top of my left. My toes touch my heel. You can even get the separation if you want by putting your Achilles tendon between the first and second toe on the foot that's on the bottom. So this is my starting position. Keep your thighs tight. You're going to also squeeze your glutes. Those are your butt cheeks, everybody. So everything from your hips down stays active. We're going to rotate through the waist. Everybody ready? Go. So my lower half is rotating. I put my right foot on top. I'm twisting my lower half to the left. To the left. Right foot is on top, then you twist your lower half to the left. This is what I meant by don't push into the floor using your hands. Muscles in your torso, through your hips, everything should be doing this work for you. Check in with yourself. Big no-no here is bending your knees. Did anybody notice your bottom knee is bending? Right? Come back to center then and straighten it out and try again. You want to do this using only the muscles in your torso. You don't want to bend your knee in order to achieve this position. I know some people that can't even get their butt up off of the floor. They can't twist. And that was me too. Not anymore. Come on out. We're going to switch to the other side. Everybody feel that? It's not an easy move. I know. I know. Okay. Left foot goes on top. Thighs are tight, so your knees are straight. Butt cheeks are squeezing. We're twisting our bottom half to the right. Shoulders and hands do stay on the ground. Left foot is on top. We're twisting the bottom part of our body to the right. I caught myself unsqueezing my butt cheeks. Squeeze them, everybody. Squeeze them. Ugh. I'm weakening. I'm faltering. Stay with it, Kim. 7 seconds. You guys too. You guys too. Stay. Hold. And release. Woo. Come back to cats and dogs, everybody. So we just added a little rotation into the body. We're just going to unwind it again. Also gives you a chance to just catch your breath. While you're on your hands and knees, after you finish 10 of these cats and dogs, I want you guys to grab your pillows and your straps, put them nearby. Put them nearby. Okay, we're going to grab one of the pillows and we're going to grab the strap. Oops, I got hair all over me. Going to put the strap around your ankles and you're going to put the pillow in between your knees. This is our double. Usually I'm doing double switch where the pillow is between your knees first, but we did a lot of realigning. So hips should be a little bit more bilateral in function at this point. Sorry, my bad. Strap goes around your knees. I'm sorry. I said strap around your ankles. My bad. Very sorry. So strap is going to go around your knees. Again, the same idea. You want to keep about a fist distance in between the knees. You want to keep the knees in line with your hips, wherever that is. Hip joint, not skin of the hip. I'm going to put the block in between my ankles. Again, I apologize for saying strap on the ankles. It's not where I want you to go. We've got strap on knees, and I'm laying down in the hook lying position. You can get this done sitting in a chair, everybody. You don't have to be laying down on the floor to do this. You're going to apply pressure on the strap by pushing out, and that should be coming from your hips. You're going to also apply pressure on your pillow or your block by squeezing in, and that also should be coming from your hips. Now relax it and do it again. Apply the pressure, relax. Apply pressure, relax. We're going for this simultaneous pressure, pushing out on the strap and squeezing in on your pillow or block. But it's not easy to achieve simultaneous pressure. So if you notice, you pushing out on your strap is automatically going to force your ankles to come inward towards each other. So just work on that. Pushing out, squeezing in, relax. Pushing out, squeezing in, relax. And it will become simultaneous in the future as you practice. This also gives you guys a chance to notice, wow, is one of my legs working differently than the other? Because so many times in the past, I give you the other version of this first. We put the block in between the knees in order to gain more symmetry before we do this move. This is a chance to see, I might actually need to gain more symmetry before we do this move. Only you're going to know that because you're going to notice one of your legs is doing something different than the other. Still going off this old menu. Gosh, this book is so old. I love these routines though. Love these routines. We're going to stay on this for just a little bit longer. If we're doing this in a therapy session, this would be 3 sets of 20. But nowadays, to save time and to squish as many exercises as I can into some of these sequences, I just do it for maybe 2 minutes or so, or until I feel the change. The muscles that are supposed to be doing this work, as you're pressing out, you should be feeling this in the outside of the thighs, creeping up into your butt. Eventually, we're looking for gluteus medius. So right up here on the top of the onion booty. That's what we're looking for. So it's as if your legs want to go into the frog position, right? But you're not letting them. Supta Baddha Konasana for all you yogis out there. That's Sanskrit for the position that we want your legs to go into, but we're trapping them. So we're trying to gain a little bit more strength in that area, which is going to rebalance your hips and blah, 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 blah. Keep your strap nearby, everybody. I'm going to flip you guys over onto your belly. We're going to do some prone hamstring curls. And this one's a little bit tough because I like to use the block with this. Keep your strap nearby. I like to use the block with this to keep my feet and hips working evenly. So I'll put the block in between my ankles and I'm going to lay on my belly and we're going to do hamstring curls there. Can't lay on your belly? Go ahead and sit in a chair. You can get this done as well. It's not as pretty doing that in a chair, but it can get done. You can even go lay in a bed. Goodness, I work with the lady who's she does some of this work in her bed. But just this past week, I transitioned her. That's by me sticking my fingers in my ears and not listening to her whining and crying. And we stuck on the ground the whole time, no bed. So I'm going to have you guys lay on your belly, put the block or pillow in between your ankles. And then you're going to bring your heels into your butt. And then I want you to dorsiflex your ankles. So I don't want you to go all Barbie-toed on me. So it's the opposite of ballerina here. Opposite of ballerina. Dorsiflex your ankles. And now we're going to go through prone hamstring curls. You're going to come down and back. You don't have to press hard on the block or on the pillow. It's just staying there to achieve a little bit more bilateral demand, which means both sides. Both sides. We're trying to keep it even. Maybe a month ago or a few weeks ago, we did something. No, it wasn't a few weeks ago. It definitely was a month or more ago. We did this type of work on the wall. And I had you guys with the legs up the wall and a block, I think, in between your knees. And we were sliding the feet up and down the wall. And the wall was just another way to trap your legs into working straight. Just felt a little wave of gratitude that I wanted to share with everybody. And it's almost making me emotional. I just wanted to say thank you. I feel really good when I move. I feel really good when I work out. And a lot of times it's just so easy to say, you know what, next time or tomorrow. And you guys really keep me accountable. And I just wanted to say thank you. Very nice. Okay, guys, this is where we're going to use both pillows. This is not a comfortable move for everybody. I know you guys have told me that in the past. Some of you who already have a pelvis that loves to come anterior, this may hurt it. So I'm going to give you something else that you can do. You're just going to lay on your back. So if you've done this move with me before and you know, oh, it's a little too much, you can just lay on your back. You can go into static back. You can go into frog position where you just lay here at rest, or even with your knees up and just lay at rest. Perfectly fine. So we're going to do what's called this floor block position. But this part's interesting. We're going to be all tied up. We're going to be all tied up with this. So these are my two blocks. I'm going to be laying on the floor like this. And the blocks or pillows that you have at home are actually going to be propping your arms up, which is going to force your shoulders to come back and down evenly. If that's too much for you, don't use the pillows. You can just lay on the floor like so. If that's still too much for you, you can just lay there like so with your head on your hands. So what we're going to do now is put the strap around the ankles. Put the strap around the ankles. We're going to do some press outs while we lay on our belly. So I'm going to kill a million birds with one stone here by putting my shoulders into a funky position. We're trying to get the shoulders to come back and down, and we're going to trap them there. Hope that makes sense. So I'm laying on the floor, and I've got my blocks, which are about 6 inches off the floor. And I'm laying on here. Again, if this hurts your shoulders, you do not have to lay with your arms up. You could put your hands just on the floor or do like I did before, just rest my head on my hands. So now I'm going to bend my knees, bring my heels to my butt, and I'm pressing my ankles out onto the strap. Now, here's the kicker. This one is definitely not going to be for those of you who have an anterior tilt, but give it a try if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about. I'm going to press my knees into the floor, and what that's going to do is pick my tailbone up towards the sky. And then I'm going to rest and do it again. So it's a slight, teeny, tiny little move. While I'm pressing out on the strap, while my ankles are dorsiflexed, just like I am in the video here. So I'm pushing my knees into the floor, and it's bringing my tailbone up to the sky. Now, this is a great move for those of you who are, like me, heading towards that C-curve spine or a flat lower back. This is the complete opposite of that. It's forcing the shoulders to come back and down. And we're trying to use the hip flexors in the front part of the body to pull, and that's actually making our tailbone come up towards the sky. Again, if this is bothering you, go ahead and lay on your back, flip over. At least you now know this move is not for me yet, or this move is not for the position that my body is in right now. Stay with me for one more minute, everybody. This is a really tough move. It's challenging. again and again. Just applying this lifting. I hope this move isn't too compound, killing so many birds with one stone that it's confusing you. I hope not. Fantastic. I'm going to come out of this move, going to take all these blocks and all this stuff, move it out of the way. Wow. Left shoulder feels really different now. Ah, very good. Okay, we're going to do counter stretch. If you don't have a counter, we can get this done on the wall. It's like a downward facing dog, but modified for a standing position. So now we did all of this rebalancing in the hips, and we're going to load the body in a vertical way. I'm going to place my hands. This is a modified version of counter stretch. You can put your hands on the wall and you can back up like so. But if you do have a counter, something that's about counter height, you can come into the position like this. Not easy. The higher you go up the wall, the easier it's going to be. We're just going to hold for a minute. So I'm going to show you this from my behind. Hands go up the wall. I begin to walk back until my butt is right over my heels. You should feel like you have to lean into the wall with this one, everybody, because if you're not, that means that your heels are further forward than your hips. So I don't want you to end up here. See how I could balance? You don't want to be there. You want to make it so that you actually have to hang on to something, because we want to stack the hips right over the heels. Keep your thighs tight and let the chest drop. So elbows stay nice and straight. If this is hard for you to do in the shoulders, in the upper body, you can stance your arms out wider, or you can just go higher up the wall, or both. I mentioned earlier that we were definitely going to be using a chair or your ottoman. I am going to throw you guys into the standing wall stork. Come on out. So you're going to take your chair or your ottoman, bring that in front of you. This is 3 minutes each leg. This might look like a really easy move, but it gets really demanding. I'm going to show you from two different angles. We want to bring the body into a position where it's just standing with one leg up at 90 degrees. So you want it to be really pretty and really clean. So be very clean with your form. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my foot on top of a chair in front of me. I just showed you from the side because I want you to trap yourself against the wall and try to find 90 degrees everywhere. So I am going to show you what it looks like from the front as well. This is what it looks like from the side. 90 degrees. From the front, you want your feet to stay hip distance, friends. Hip distance. So I'm not putting my leg out to the side. I'm not letting the knee drop in. I'm staying just as if I were. So just pick my leg up. That's it. Once you get into that position, I'll give you some other nuances that are going to make this a whole lot harder. And that's the point, right? You came here to be challenged. Okay, so get into your position. I'm trapped on the wall, so we're not going to be able to rotate out of this sucker. Feet are pointed straight ahead. Now, here's a nuance. Ladies, you'll know what I'm talking about because you might have carried a baby on your hip in the past. So if that's you, what I want you to do is pretend like you got a baby on your hip, the leg that's down, you're going to pop that hip out to the side. That's where I don't want you to be, but we went here for a reason. Now I want you to correct that using your muscles. That's where I want you to stay. I'm going to stay here for 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of my favorite moves. The other thing is, I want you to test it. Can you pick your leg up off of your chair easily? If you can lift it easily, then you're putting way too much weight onto one of your legs. You want to distribute the weight evenly. And usually that means I got to come over there, put my fingers on either side of your hips and slide your butt over to the side of the leg that's on the chair. So I want you to do that on your own. Slide over just a little bit. And once you feel, oh, there's the demand, now you know you're doing it right. You want demand out of this move. You want the move to demand your body to work. That's what we're doing. It's not a bad thing if your form is really, really terrible in this move. One of my clients, his form is horrendous. He cannot do this right, but he loves doing the move. And he has made progress with it. So who am I to tell him, you know what, don't do it because your form looks like crud. He's actually made progress and he feels that it's a beneficial move to him because he enjoys it. When you see progress, you can't help but feel, wow, this is benefiting me in some way because you're making steps forward, and you can witness that. One more minute. Everybody feel the demand on the leg that's down on the thigh? Everybody feel that? I hope you do. Oh, something just kicked on. As my body was moving and changing, I was kind of stuck on the wall. So I just moved the flesh of my butt off the wall. And then my body went whoop, and put itself into this new position. And now, oh, everything's stretching and hurting. And, oh, I hope my transparency is helping you maybe understand what might be going on in your body. So if you're noticing, oh, I've got that too, or I feel that as well, I hope that helps. Ten seconds, everyone. Again, you should not be able to lift the leg that's on the chair easily. It should be because you have so much weight on it. That's the key. Come on out. We're going to switch to the other side. There is a version of this. It's just a stork. It's what we call stork. We have done in the library. We've done walking stork. Right? We've done moves like that. So that's something else you might want to do if you're not able to stand against the wall. That could be something. You can even like, hey, look at what I'm doing. You can stand here like this, but if you were to turn my body and lay me on the floor, what does this move look like? It looks like one leg up and static back. That's what we call the supine groin stretch. Okay, everybody, get yourself situated. Make sure your legs are at 90 degrees here. And now do what I would do if I caught you in the library cheating. We're gonna move the hips over towards the bent knee side and put the demand on that leg. It's not all the demand, but you want to balance demand. This is as much a move for your left hip as it is your right hip. We're getting some pelvic separation. My hand just wants to go on my leg. I've noticed that. I went, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because it's so demanding on this side. My body wants to help itself. Anybody else catch themselves doing things like that? Again, I'm trapping myself on the wall for a reason. For a reason. If I have my leg up on the couch or on the chair, and my chest goes forward, it's actually taking demand off of the muscles that I'm going for. So if you do have the ability to get yourself against the wall or get yourself against a door, I highly recommend trying this move again when you have that opportunity. Just take a kitchen chair, something like that. Because if this wall wasn't here, I'd be falling backwards. I would be falling backwards. What we're doing in this move is trying to trap the load-bearing joints, which are ankles, knees, hips, and shoulders. Those should be able to bear load. We're trapping them in a stack. Caught myself cheating, everybody. I fixed myself. It's okay there. Believe it or not, I was rotating out of this move. I was leaning into my right leg and my right hip was coming forward, and I was getting really, really light on my left leg. We've got less than a minute now, everybody. We're going to go back over one of the moves that we started out with. And then I'm going to let you guys go. Maybe we'll do 2 more moves. We'll see what we have time for. Anybody else shaking? Yeah, no wonder my hand kept going on to my leg. Now my hamstring's shaking, my glutes quivering. Yeah, it doesn't like this side. Well, it's got to do its work. So, okay, come on. Ooh, come on out. Gotta love this stuff. Okay, we're going to come back into standing windmill. So you can either put yourself on your beautiful wall or your imaginary wall. Remember, we want to pretend like we got a wall behind us, even though we don't. Feet are straight ahead, heels are on your imaginary wall, arms come out, thumb, pinky on the wall. Do not slide your butt back and forth. My butt should not be doing this. It stays right over your heels, move only from your waist. If you don't have a wall, there's a tendency to kind of do that. So I want you to be really aware of what your body is doing. We're going to stance the legs out 1.5 feet. I'm going 2 feet wide. Feet stay parallel. That's going to put more demand on the hip flexors. The iliopsoas, namely the tensor fasciae latae. Sounds delicious, right? Since we've touched on this move before, now you get a chance to use this move now as a functional test. So you can see what's changed, what's different. Does it feel better? Does it feel worse? Do I hate this class and I don't ever want to come back? I don't know. So it's a functional test. Feet stay parallel. We're going to come back to the beginning position. With our feet right underneath our hips. Heels stay down. Down, heels down. Fantastic. I'm going to finish you guys out with a, you know what? Let's do it. Static back. Static back. You're going to lay down on your back for a couple of minutes. This is not a move for everyone. If you cannot get onto the floor, you can certainly sit in a chair in the same fashion. I'm trapping the body at 90 degrees. I don't always end with this move, but it's okay. We worked hard today. Putting my legs up on top of the ottoman or a chair. If your face is not staring up to the ceiling, it happens to be staring at the wall behind you because your shoulders are rounded, go ahead and put a pillow underneath your head. Put something underneath your head. Because the longer you stay in a position where your cervical spine or your neck is in that type of extension, it's going to create a little more tension in the neck muscles, and that's not what we're going after. Some of these moves are great moves to do throughout the day. If you notice, wow, I'm just a little bit off, I'd really need a static back, that'll help me out, or a windmill always makes such and such feel better. Go ahead and do it. I'm hoping as you learn some of these moves from me that you're using them with your body and learning from your body what it needs. I want to thank you guys for being with me today. And I'm getting people from all over the world at least reaching out to me, and I've had clients in different countries and all over this country, in the very least. And, hey, if you got libraries that want me to join, I certainly will. I'm looking forward to adding more classes. If anybody wants, people have reached out to me for that, but I appreciate it. And I want to thank the Levittown Library for always supporting me and having this class. I hope this has been a benefit for you guys. Thank you for letting people know about me. I hope it's been helpful. And I'll let you go. Thanks so much for being with me this week.